We are now going to light the candles for those we've lost this year. If you would like to say something about your loved one when you light their candle, please feel free to share.
And be seated.
Oh, please be seated.
Please be seated.
Okay. Steve Ulrey. Is there someone here to light light a candle for him? There's a, we have a candle. There's a candle to use.
Okay.
Just pick up the,
It's hot. I can't use those things. Fred Reed. Tina's coming.
I would like to say that we miss Fred's quiet presence that he had for so many years, and this has been his home church forever. I think he and Margie were married in the Methodist Church, and his in-laws were here, and when they were in town, they were here. And I know his family misses him, and he was so close to his daughter and his son, and they are continuing on with his Reed's dressing, and they're making a success out of that. So we just want to say hi, Fred.
Does anybody else want to say anything about Steve? I'd like to say something. I've been in United Methodist pastor for a long time, and they have this thing called the License to Preach School, and Steve was my instructor. I had about 30 years ago, and we become good friends, and taught me a lot about what it's like to be up here and what is expected. And I have this book here. It was handed to me back at Cedar Canyon over 25 years ago. He gave this to me, and along with the other people. And he said, "Scott, you're going to need this." And I tell you, I don't know how many funerals or how many weddings I've used this book from. And also, I have this one. Now, he told us we had to bring this one with us, so I did. Brought this one along with about 5 other books. Didn't understand why we had to have them all, but I have learned now that they are part of your tools. And then this one here. And so it brings back a good memory. And last year, he was at a pastor's preaching thing in Amarillo, and we sat at the table together, and we reminisced about that and all the other things. And he just means so much to me. And, of anybody to have to follow, I would have never thought about having to be able to follow him. But I think he would say, yes, Scott, you can come up here. I know he'd probably be giving me some instructions on what he always liked to teach. And Steve, he had to have a certain way. So I always pray that I'm doing things a certain way that he'd want. But anyway, I know he meant a lot to you all. He meant a lot to me. And so I know you're all very fortunate to have him as your pastor for 10 years. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
John Westman.
Y'all know John Westman was one of our pastors before Steve came. He and Kay were here, and I just wanted to say that he loved his Duke football team and basketball team. He loved music, and I had just seen him in August prior to his passing at
annual conference, and he seemed to be more at ease than I had seen him in a long time. So I just wanted to say something that he was doing very well at his time. It's just,
Barbara Dennis.
Y'all can use the lighter or one of the candles, either way you want. You have to push that button. There you go. That's good. That'll work. You got another one? Oh. Okay. Yep. Oh, well.
Sissy never let us play with fire.
Uh-oh. It's gotta be melted down, doesn't it? Uh-oh.
Hey, the candle's cantankerous, just like my mother.
You find another one.
Here, you wanna,
That is not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Oh, well. Here you go. Say something.
I don't wanna.
You don't want to use the microphone? Okay.
I don't know that I can talk.
Oh.
This church meant so much to my mother. She talked about it all the time. In her last year, she couldn't come, or I wouldn't let her. She got so mad at me, and she just didn't understand why she couldn't go to church. And she just loved every single one of y'all. And I want y'all to know that. She talked about y'all constantly. Always love to come and cook, and y'all are always eating. That's right, they clean the refrigerator and wash y'all's tea towels. So I just want y'all to know how much she meant, y'all meant to her. Yes.
Florence Kiefler. Pam.
It is.
Pam.
It's lit.
Florence.
Huh?
Florence's family was supposed to be here today, but they have a stomach bug. And I just remember that it didn't matter how sick she was or what surgery she was going through, when she and Wayne could be here, she was always smiling and was so proud of her grandkids when they would come with her. And so it's just, I remember them sitting over here, and I remember that about her. And I know that she loved her church family, and it really hurt them whenever she got so sick that she couldn't get out and get around, so.
William Followill. Just stay there, you got
I might as
another
well
one.
stay here. William Falwell loved to, he volunteered at the Salvation Army. He volunteered a lot of civic groups here in town. He and Susan did, and he loved riding his motorcycle and loved his dogs, his family. But I just remember him always being ready and willing to help at any time when something was going on.
Joe Slaybaugh.
Joe Slaybaugh, she was a prayer warrior, I know that. She prayed for her family, she prayed for her grandkids. For the longest time, one of Allie's, my daughter's best friends, was her granddaughter in high school. And I just remember, I met her then, but I really got to know her whenever I started coming to church here with her. And I just remember that she was quite the prayer warrior, and she was a very sweet lady.
Chief Fagan.
Last one. Push forward.
he loved my kids completely, and he loved me completely. And I'll never forget, I had a skirt on, and it was when the fringe, well, it's still in style, kind of the holes, the fringe, whatever. And I came into church, and I sat down, and he goes, Lisa, he said, do I need to give you some money to buy you a new skirt? And I said, Chief, this is in style. And he's like, I don't know why you'd wear that. It looks like it's worn out, da 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 da. But he always made me smile. He always made, especially Shelby, smile. Shelby would sit with him, and they would fold up the dollars to put in the offering. And they would make little hearts or birds or whatever. But he was so sweet, and I cherish him every day.
I'd like to say something about Chief. When I'm not doing this, I'm a full-time chaplain at the VA, and met Chief several times in waiting rooms, and that's how we struck up our relationship way before I knew I was going to be appointed here. And a few months ago, they suggested, hey, he's over at Usher Roan, and I went over there to visit with him, and went right by him, and he said, Scott, where are you going? And I stopped, and we talked, and I tell you, he was just a person that, he remembered things. It's amazing what kind of memory he had. And so he was, and when I was talking to someone at the VA that had heard he had passed, he was telling me how much he used to always be involved with sports, with golf and umpiring and refereeing. And he said he's just a person that just never stopped. And I think that was, indicative of who he was. He's one of these people that just always doing things for people and had a big heart. And so I agree. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else have anything to say? Wants to share? Yes. Anybody else? Yes. Anybody else? Okay, well, let's go on with our service. And now we are going to sing another hymn, A Charge to Keep I Have. Would you all stand? Let's sing together.
A charge to keep I have, oh God to glorify, a never dying soul to save, and fitted for the sky, to soothe the present age, my calling to fulfill. Oh, may it all my blessed gifts to do my Master's will. Arm me with jealous care, as in the sight to live, and to thy servant, Lord, prepare all strict account to give. Help me to watch and pray, and on thyself rely. Assured if I my trust betray, I shall forever die.
Please be seated. It is time for our praises and concerns.